Meeting. And the first thing on our agenda is our Taking Positive Steps Service Award.
Yeah, so we have ETC, Electronic Theater Controls here. So
The whole company.
the whole company, I'll use the whole company.
The rest are in the parking lot.
I'll have you guys introduce yourselves in a minute. But, so Lodi nominated ETC for the Wisconsin Association of School Boards Business Honor Roll. ETC is a global leader in the manufacture of theater lighting and rigging technology. ETC has partnered formally with Lodi through a variety of projects over the past several years, and informally through partnerships with community members who are employees, have had access to high-quality theatrical lighting through the ETC Employee Loan Program. Our productions and the PAC would look dramatically different without the equipment we are able to access through ETC. In 2024, ETC selected Lodi as a beta site for continuing development of ETC products. This work significantly upgraded the technology, safety, and technological integration in the space, allowing students the opportunity for more hands-on work with cutting-edge theater equipment and technology. District continues to be grateful to Lodi residents and ETC employees Stephen Ricks, Heather Hatley, and Troy Hatley, and ETC for their continued partnership with the school district of Lodi. So, I'll have you come up.
I've been preparing.
So, here is the, there you go.
By the way, this is Dennis Varian. He's the VP of R&D for
Dennis,
Pleasure.
Nice to meet you. I'm Vince Brenning. I'm the district administrator.
Excellent.
And to help to pay back, $100,000 apiece. $100,000 apiece, plus you can give to the other people in the parking lot.
Heather probably.
So is there anything you want to say? And then when you're done, we're going to take your picture in front of our Lodi screen.
Well, I mean, thank you very much. This is a great treat for us. Being able to support our employees and our employees' children is always very important to us. Having people experience arts in schools is not only important to our society, but it's important to us as a company, right? We're making people that are interested in theater, that I'm a theater geek. Theater geek. Sorry, I'm from Madison, so West High is where I've dedicated my time to. But this is where we all started, was in our own high schools, and this is where our future employees are. And it's even if it's in fields of engineering, all of us work in R&D now, not in product development or not in the field every day. So getting these opportunities is great, and bringing our employees who don't understand theater in to a working space is an additional benefit. So thank you for the opportunity, and we look forward to continuing this partnership.
Having a daughter who's a theater geek, I so appreciate it.
I'm a fourth generation lighting person, and my youngest is just finished her master's degree in lighting, so it's a long time.
We so appreciate our partnership with ETC. It's been so beneficial. So thank you so much.
Will you look over? Yeah, there you go.
Wow, big deal. You gotta get this out. Big deal.
And again, if any of you are interested in running for the board,
Yes.
On three or after? Got it. It's a live photo, it doesn't matter.
thank you so much.
And the music, man, and the lighting, and I mean, I was
Just
all
try it.
excited knowing
Just try it.
that.
Good luck, Caleb.
Good luck, you guys.
Thank you.
We're all counting on you.
Thanks, Troy.
And our next thing on our agenda is our presentation.
Yeah, so Tahir is here, as you've noticed, so I'm going to turn it over to Diane and have you go with this presentation. So
Actually, I'm going to introduce, this is our celebrity chef, John Sugimura, from corporate in Minnesota, and he has put together a whole program on Japanese culture and food, and he's amazing. I watched him in class today with Renee Moldenhauer's class, and those kids had a blast. And he was so good with them. They just really loved the class. So without further ado, I'm gonna let him give his presentation.
It will be very simple, but I wanted to explain the menu because the food that you're enjoying tonight is the same food the students are eating tomorrow. So there's no switch. So we're doing yakitori and yakisoba, chicken skewers, but when you eat yours or bring it home and enjoy it, there's 5 ounces of protein, raw protein that we've prepared. So the kids are getting twice the portion of on any day that when they're having a commodity chicken patty. So Japanese food is functional eating, and it's about getting these kids full off of protein, then vegetables, and you're gonna notice a very purposeful, very modest amount of soba noodles in the bottom, almost garnish proportions. But that is the point. And they're only getting 2 ounces of noodles tomorrow to 3.5 ounces of vegetables to 5 ounces of chicken. And it's very intentional so that they are getting full off of what we would like our young people to get full off of so that they're nourished after. The second part of the meal is the yakisoba, which is the grilled or the soba noodles. It's a wheat noodle, and it has 7 hand-cut vegetables. It has cabbage, white onions, green onions, carrots, shiitake mushrooms, red peppers, and green onions in it. And then the noodles and the veggies have a very robust sauce, a tonkatsu sauce, which is almost barbecue, and the chicken is very simple, so that you can play off of both. You have a sesame salad there with some bitter greens and so forth. And let me just call it out, there's a compartment empty with purple cabbage. I'm gonna own it. We may have burned up your dumplings tonight. So I made a decision, and I think I made the right one. Mr. JP's class tomorrow at 7:55, get dumplings, or the board get dumplings. So you know where I went with it.
All right, that's okay. We'll accept that,
But those dumplings that I did this morning for the class is really a gateway food. Every continent has dumplings of some sort, but what we're really trying to do is give the kids an opportunity to try something that could compete to an 18-gram fat piece of pizza on Tuesday. Tomorrow might be a burger, but today they're getting a multi-generational scratch cooking, which is a huge opportunity for Taher's team to go outside of the scoop, the salad bar, the chicken patties on Monday, the chicken tenders on Tuesday, the chicken nuggets on Thursday. You know where I'm going with that. So we're really proud, and you are, I'm sure, familiar with our, that we're a chef-driven. I'm number 10 of 10 chefs on the Chef Council. So I'm a second-generation chef, third-generation Japanese-American, and all I do is Japanese food for Taher. So with the food that you're getting today, like I said, with the exception of the dumplings, which the students will get tomorrow, so you can only imagine. But we're really proud of this particular meal because we're giving the kids what they should be eating.
And it's so pretty.
And it's pretty, and believe it or not, they will eat
It's not
all those
dull.
vegetables because of that robust flavor and that
Yep.
robust sauce and that 5 ounces of chicken. It's not just smoke and mirrors and it all gets done. We do the Japanese food as much as we do because the consumption is really high, the waste is really low. And so that even makes, and this meal, we bear the difference, but this meal, generally speaking, when I do Japanese food, is only 34 cents more than the budget, and we bear that. You know what I mean? So they're getting a good meal, and it's not like it's a 4 times the amount. It's never can be done under any other circumstance. This is something I literally do this from August to May in all of the units around the country. So I'm glad that we could bring some to you today. And that salad is only on there because of that sesame dressing. So whether you like salad or not, and there's always beans on it and stuff like that, but eat that sesame dressing. And the very modest sponge cake.
And the dumplings that we're not seeing, are they stuffed with something, or are they?
So dumplings are always pork, and it has, so I grow my own garlic chive or nira for it on our farm partner that we have at Taher. And it has cabbage and green onion and garlic and ginger and some dry ingredients in it, and they're hand folded with love. And we just, ask me how many dumplings I folded for Taher in the last several years.
1,000,000.
Oh, you're good. You're the 1,016,278.
Whoa.
But that's how much that we can put dumplings in front of the kids today. And and the teacher that we did it was with the special ed, if you hadn't heard, I was an educator in the past, I was special ed autism. So we always do culinary classes, whatever, but we also hit the history classes, the American history classes, the special ed classes, so that everybody can participate in the culture as well as the culinary classes. Any questions?
Well, I was gonna comment that, I think I just told you when you dropped this off, that my son is in the East Asian class in the morning. Is I was coming here, he said, guess what, you're gonna have fresh dumplings tonight at your meeting, so,
So now you're gonna go home and say, son, we yielded to you, so you would have dumplings.
he loves dumplings,
Yeah.
so I'm glad he's getting them.
So the dumplings, which is hugely popular, that's one of my entrees where they
Yeah.
get, students get 5, adults get 7, so you're getting more protein.
Okay.
Rice bowl with sunomono, homemade pickles. Homemade Japanese pickles are not pasteurized, so they count towards the program. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So everything's very intentional, and I'm really proud that the Japanese food, and I think the Tahar team it's really a model for how we do other cuisines and how we touch on all the things and we stay within the guidelines, and we're not tinkering. These are menus as if my grandmother would cook them. Any other cuisine, we have to adjust or take out some of the fat. A Japanese kitchen has no fat, no dairy in it. Just that in itself makes it eligible and qualifying in most circumstances. And then when we put in the functional and reduce the starches and stuff like that, it hits on it every time.
So is this type of meal, you're just doing this right now, or is this something that is being served like on a more regular basis, like in Lodi? I guess I'm unclear about that.
So, good question, but to be clear,
Okay.
they can only serve this food when I am physically here.
Okay, gotcha.
Not because of they aren't to do it, but it's to sustain the control, enthusiasm, methods and techniques,
Got it.
and authentic ingredients. I can come repeatedly, do you know what I mean?
Okay.
But then you can also have Italian, you can also have Mediterranean, you can also have French and stuff like that. It's
Okay.
not just Japanese, but the Japanese food is a good reference and metric for what we do with all the food
Thank you.
in the program.
It's beautiful.
Any other questions over here from administrative? The kids' table?
So how long are you gonna be here for, like a month?
You'll be here for almost, not quite a month, but almost. But anyway, so enjoy, please enjoy, and thank you for letting us
And
deliver.
I said this earlier, but my son does not talk about school, and he came home today and said, Mom, you're getting Japanese food at the board meeting, and I'm like, I cannot believe you're telling me something, and he's always wanting more protein, because the kid wants to gain weight, so
Yep.
he's gonna be excited about
Yep,
this,
and
so thank you.
faculty will be eating, I think it's a big deal, but I always serve faculty for free when I'm here because the faculty too need to be coming out of their classrooms. And if you're here tomorrow, we have chef table that starts at the beginning of first lunch, and I'll be doing tableside dumplings with them, and they're gonna get the meal too, but anything to engage the staff. Who's here, one of you are gonna say, I've taught in the district for 17 years and I haven't eaten once, but that's why we're trying to do this, give you some opportunity to fully participate, and many of you might, but I'm just trying to give you more temptation to come and eat
Thank
with
you
us.
so much.
All right?
That's very cool.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're
Really
very welcome.
appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And there's 4 more for whomever or whatever. Feel free to
Sounds
take
good.
one. Get those out.
Well,
Oh, you want a picture?
Or you can go ahead and eat when we go to get through consent agenda. While the administrators are giving their reports, it'd be a great time for us to eat. You guys can eat now, because we're gonna do consent agenda.
Really short reports.
You sit through all
Yeah,
this, so
absolutely.
have fun.
All right, so now we have consent agenda items. So we had our approval of our minutes. We had our vouchers. We do not have any fundraiser requests. We do not have any fundraiser reports, and we do not have any field trip requests. We do have committee recommendations for approval on our high school roof. We have, under other, we have our fall sports summary, and we have a Wednesday night activity request from the Leadership Council ski trip. We do not have any retirements, but we do have resignations. So German exchange advisor, our primary school special education assistant, track coach, I believe that's a middle school track coach, right? Okay. And wrestling coach. For co-curricular, we have a German exchange advisor, a middle school social studies department chair, volunteer boys basketball coaches, 2 of them, and musical lighting design. And we do not have anything for crew. Under regular staff, we have middle school limited term special education assistant. Thank you, Audrey, for always coming to everything. Middle school and,
Audrey, take one of those with you.
Take one of those, yeah.
thank you. So we have 2 level 2 middle school limited term special education assistants. And under personnel, we have 2 leave without pay requests and a request for administrative professional improvement reimbursement.
So I make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented with the addition of the approval of the resignation of Bryce Ziegler as wrestling coach and the approval of Troy Hatley as musical lighting design.
I'll second that.
Motion by Terry, second by Teresa. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
Skip the public hearing.
So sorry.
It's all,
The one
So
time,
sorry.
not my fault.
one time I didn't say it.
Oh.
No.
Are you guys here for public input? Or you here for us? So there is no public input, right? There is no public input.
Okay.
Okay.
But I'm sorry for not saying
There's no public input.
all this food.
Yeah, it really puts me off. I can smell it. doesn't it?
So we have administrative reports. Joe, are you ready? Are you still?
I'm ready, so I'm glad I'm first, so I can get back to the foods.
Okay. Okay.
Thanks, Heather.
Yes.
So first of all, I mentioned at our last meeting, we had just had the NHS ceremony the night before the November meeting. So I did want to recognize the students that were accepted into National Honor Society. These are not just top students because they're really strong in the classroom, but they're also leaders in the building and do a lot of things, not just for staff and for the community, but for other students as well. So I just wanted to recognize them. You can see their names. If you go to the next page, another recognition. So we had our first varsity girls basketball game. We actually had to call the ambulance because there was an accident that happened with one of the opposing players. The opposing player's family or parents emailed me this message because of how we responded to that situation. And I cannot take credit for any of this because I was actually out in the Commons on a FaceTime with somebody I needed to talk to. And Jill Gort came out to me and said, we're calling the ambulance. So I wanted to appreciate Jill. They reached out, they said that our reaction, everything that we did was great. They really appreciated it. You can read the email that they had sent me. We went through it really smoothly. Ambulance had gotten there, people like Rick Mack and others. There were 3 people from the crowd that had some experience, medical experience from Lodi that came out and were there to support the parents and the athlete. And I ended up reaching out to their athletic director and the family afterwards, and she's doing fine now. But it was a pretty scary moment there for a second. So the response, and especially from Jill, I just wanted to make mention of it. So. Thailand Exchange, they survived and came back. The 2 pictures that you see there are 4 chaperones on elephants. So they had a really good trip. It was there was a little bit of illness, so it wasn't as smooth as we would have liked it, but it ended up being great because I think our chaperones did a great job with our kids. There is a video link there, so JP Fossbender would be sending me pictures all the time that he's getting from the English program in Supanburi or at Sangwon Ying School, their English program, and there's a video link there. When you have time, it's like a 12-minute video and it's very
nice.
professionally done that has lots of pictures and videos of the trip. So when you have a chance, click on that and you can see what it was like. We finished the Music Man. So Music Man, congratulations to all of the cast and crew of the Music Man. They did an outstanding job. Erica Bardwell, who is our director, who most of you know, does a great job with our students. I left some statistics here. The number of students involved were 43 cast members, 23 crew, and 5 pit musicians, so lots of students involved. Number of adults involved, paid staff were 11, hired musicians 7, parent volunteers more than 20, so lots of parent volunteers. Then approximately 200 hours of rehearsing with students, 500 plus man hours spent on set building, painting, lighting, and sound, 400 minutes on vocal practice tracks made for the students, 23 songs with choreography, and approximately 200 plus costumes. So it is a huge event that has to take place. I only wish they could do it for another weekend because it was so outstanding. So I appreciate all of the efforts there. And Audrey was here. You can see a lot of the photos if you click on that link on the bottom. All the photos that she took from several performances.
They were great pictures.
We did have a Veterans Day ceremony. I did want to recognize Paul Fisk, who spoke on behalf of POWs and MIAs. And also a parent of some of our students, Todd Curran, Master Sergeant Todd Curran. He was also there and spoke and did an outstanding job. And then all of the students that spoke, and especially Kate McCrae and Doug Caved, and them conducting the band and leading the chorus and a lot of the songs that were sung. So they did a great job. I just wanted to mention them. If you go to the next page, there was something that actually I did not make note of in my November board report, Youth Government Day. We had more students go to Youth Government Day on Wednesday, October 16th. I know it was a little while ago. But it's run by Columbia County, and I wanted to thank Mason Wilson, who talked to those students about going, and our numbers have gone up over the years. It's a great experience for them to learn a little bit about local government. So there were lots of sales in the last few weeks, and one is still going on, and that's the Blue Devil Manufacturing. But Patrick Enterprise, the Transition Endeavor, those sales just took place, and I appreciate all the efforts from staff and students on that. And then, like I said, Blue Devil Manufacturing is still going on, and if you look at the order form, you can still order some items if you're looking for Christmas gifts. These are our 12 days of holiday cheer that we do at our school every year. Pam Cunningham, Lynn Werderitz, and Jill Gord put this together, so I just wanted to recognize them and everything that they do for our staff. Today we had the Count the Kisses, so 2 jars of kisses that they had to try to guess, and some staff members won some things, so appreciate them. I'm going to I think Caleb's going to talk a little bit about NHS Holly Jolly Trivia Night. Make sure you mention who got second place.
Oh, I will.
Okay, thank you. Upcoming events, we do have parent-teacher conferences tomorrow night, and then we do have a winter concert Tuesday, December 17th, and then you can see our 3 broadcasts and the latest broadcast from our advocate for November 26th, and that is the high school board report. Thank you.
Thank you. And Caleb is next for our student report.
Thank you, Heather. So, starting last Friday, students in Ms. Ashbeck's MATC dual enrolled English 12 class toured MATC. I talked to a few students, said it was absolutely amazing. So, but I wanted to give the board a little bit of knowledge into what English 12 is. So it's a semester-long course. The course description is there, but it basically combines 2 Madison College courses into one that can be taken at Lodi High School. And then, am I wrong in saying they're dual enrolled? They're dual
Yes,
enrolled, right? They're dual enrolled. So they get college credit for that much as you would for, right, getting a 5 on an AP exam. But yeah, so this is, I've got it under post-secondary opportunities. I think it's also a secondary opportunity, but one of our absolutely phenomenal classes that we offer at Lodi High School. And here's where Mr. Jelinek shoots me. Holly Jolly Trivia Night. So, the LHS chapter of National Honor Society hosted Holiday Trivia Night on Saturday night. And top 3 teams each received a cash prize, first place being 50, second 20, third 10. And I just want to mention that the team with the 3 educators comprising 5 or 6 degrees took second place.
We donated back our prizes to NHS, just so everybody knows, okay?
To a team of high school seniors with no degrees. And were not alive when most of the questions referred to were occurring. But that's beyond the point.
I like how Joe was like, make sure you tell me get second. He's like, oh, it kind of backfired on you.
And then finally, just the upcoming winter concerts. So the middle school concert will be December 12th, starting at 6 p.m. Primary school on December 13th throughout the day, both of those happening in the PAC at the high school. And the high school, December 17th in the evening at 7 p.m. And as tradition states, the high school concert will close with Hondel's Hallelujah Chorus. Ms. McCray wanted me to put this in here. Alumni and community members are welcomed and encouraged to join the high school choral program on stage for performance of the piece. There is a link in my report there to a drive folder that contains practice tracks and music.
Oh, so people can practice before they get there. Thanks, Caleb.
Thank you.
Curriculum. Nick, are you ready? I'm sorry. Eating over there. I want to make sure that we're not catching people in the middle of bites.
Oh, I set mine to the side. The first part of mine just really focuses on a whole lot of thank yous, so just a couple of things to alert you to. Right now, we're starting, and I believe she's actually starting tomorrow, Jen Morgan, the state access assessment. So this is an opportunity where We are asked by the state to do the access assessment once a year for all of our English language students who identify as English language learners, and we have approximately 40 of those students in the school district that will go through this assessment. Jen Morgan is trained in that assessment series, and she takes all of the students through that. So she spends most of December and January helping us meet that federal and state mandate. So it's not just a one-time sit-down test, it's four sections to the assessment that Jen helps to administer. So it's a lot of time, but we get some good information of it that we then turn and we utilize. Also, I want to say thank you on this next part to Jill Lincoln here in the district office. There is a report that not many people know about called the WISE Staff Report. So basically, we have to submit a host of information to the Department of Public Instruction to ensure that all of our staff meet the proper credentials and licenses. And she works with our information system to get that information to the Department of Public Instruction, and then gets the report back and helps me determine who I need to follow up with on certain license categories. So she spends a lot of time on that, and it takes a certain level of expertise, so I thank her. The next part is the annual WISE data poll. So Chris Carl's here, not related to Nick Carl's in any way, but Chris Carl's here in the district office. She has an expertise in this side, which is WISE data, which actually takes all of our student information that we have to take and submit to the Department of Public Instruction, and school information that we have to submit to the Department of Public Instruction, and they leverage that information for a host of other reports at the state level. It's just, she has a deep expertise in that, and she's working on that right now. And then I want to say thank you to Elise Kearney. She's our secondary instructional coach. She has been working, it was last week or 2 weeks ago?
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago, she was working with our freshman students. You may recall that they took the pre-ACT practice test in the fall, and she helped to deliver to them their reports, but sit down with them to help them understand their reports and then next steps. She'll also be meeting in the next few weeks here with our juniors who took the practice full-length ACT, and she'll be doing the same exact thing with them. She'll sit down with them, she'll give them the reports, and then go through next steps.
She met with every freshman student?
She'll meet with every.
In groups, so, couple
Okay,
groups.
That's nice though, that's impressive.
And then next, I just wanted to share on here, we, as you recall, as part of Wisconsin Act 20, we have the opportunity to give this new state screener for students in kindergarten through third grade. From there, students that would qualify for a reading plan based on certain benchmarks, we would put those together. We have done that, and then we put supports in place. And then relative to those supports, we progress monitor how students are doing once a week. And at the end of 10 weeks, we will then give that information to guardians to say, your student is making adequate progress or they're not, we're gonna try a different support. And what I thought was neat here is just so you can see our teachers right now, they're about 5 weeks into putting these support plans in place. And this is an example of a progress monitoring chart where you can see this student here has the following data points, and they are on track to meet their goal by the end of the school year. So we would say this support is working for this student. We do have some where that trajectory doesn't look like that, so we have an internal conversation of, okay, what do we have to change up? So just so you guys understand what that looks like. And the last thank you that I had at the very bottom was Mo Palmer put this beautiful graphic together, and I just want to thank her so much. This is lives on our website now, that just lets our community know about some of the wonderful things that happen with our school accountability report cards. I also want to say thank you to NBC 15 that came and did a wonderful story on our district as being one of the top performing districts in the region. Vince did a wonderful job talking to them. Caleb did a wonderful job talking to them, represented the district very well. Thank you, Caleb. And then also Stephanie Caves, a parent here in the district, and Christy Paskey were on the news as well. So, thank you.
Thanks, Nick. LCAT.
Okay. Just a second. All right, so school board report for December. On November 1st, 2024, Sarah met with middle school life skills teacher Brian Bauer to plan a presentation about youth vaping in January. Sarah also met with a high school student who was interested in pursuing a career in social work. With her master's degree in social work, Sarah was eager to share her experiences in the field Additionally, both Sarah and Brian have offered to speak to students who are interested in their former careers, social work and law enforcement. They plan to continue presenting at the Lodi High School Career Fair in the future, and they were there this last year and had lots of good questions. That's probably why the student followed up with them. So Brian and Sarah met with the LCAT admin team to discuss the development of LCAT's scorecard. During the meeting, a draft of the scorecard was created and is currently being refined. LCAT plans to finalize the scorecard and share it in the near future. The scorecard will assist LCAT in tracking progress toward their goals and will guide their grant funding applications. An LCAT coalition meeting took place on Wednesday, November 20th at the district office. During this meeting, the coalition examined the approved strategic plan, discussed the revised mission statement, and reviewed the vision statement. Following this, the coalition assessed a draft of the balanced scorecard and approved it. Sarah represented LCAT at the Alliance for Wisconsin Youth meeting held in Waunakee. The Alliance for Wisconsin Youth supports over 100 community coalitions committed to preventing and addressing issues related to drug use. Through this organization, we can apply for the State Opioid Response Grant, which enables us to provide essential resources in our community, such as the medication lockboxes, among other things. All right?
Thank you. Student services.
Good evening, thank you.
You get a little sound for
I was
you.
going to say, what happened there?
Xavier's turn.
All right, first I would like to highlight a member of our special education teaching staff, Jean Smith. Jean is our homebound instructor, and she provides educational services to students who are unable to attend school. Sometimes this is due to medical, physical, or emotional conditions. Her primary goal is to ensure that students continue to receive quality instruction and remain on track academically. She's very highly skilled in using alternative curriculum to teach those core subjects, also adapting lessons to meet the needs of individual students, and is always in collaboration with school staff. Her role also gives her an opportunity to provide emotional support, serve as a source of encouragement to help students stay motivated despite the circumstances that they're in. Because Jean teaches in the home environment, she also needs to establish a positive relationship with students' parents and other family members. And this role requires patience, flexibility, and a deep understanding of both those educational practices and the challenges that students face. So we thank Mrs. Smith for all of her work in that role. Next, I'd like to make you aware of a transition event. So as a reminder, last school year, the district received funding from the Transition Readiness Grant. Part of that funding was allocated for additional training for our special education teachers at the middle school and high school to receive some training on post-secondary transition planning. Post-secondary transition planning begins for our students when they are 14 and is part of their annual IEP planning process each year. 7 of our staff members utilize that coursework from UW-Whitewater. One of our action steps following that training was to use the Wisconsin Transition app. And on December 8th, Adora Bilsey, our transition coordinator, hosted an event at Lodi High School for students who have IEPs. The students completed the activities with the app and for 2 main purposes. First, to help them plan for their future after high school, such as goals for their education or training, employment, and independent living skills. And also, it really helps our students utilize the support services that they have and be leaders in conducting their own IEP meetings. Next, I'd like to give an update on the 403B auto enrollment. So the Wellness Committee partnered with our district leaders and the Board of Education to continue our efforts in the area of financial wellness. And the 403B automatic enrollment was rolled out this fall. Prior to this program, about 28% of our staff participated in the program, and following this rollout during the month of October and November, just shy of 80% of our staff will be participating in the program beginning in January. So thanks for the board for supporting this process, and also to the business office for their work to implement the program. And finally, the district has hosted 2 vaccine clinics so far this school year. 12 different vaccines were offered by O'Connell Pharmacy. and 218 vaccines were provided during the 2 clinics. We will also be having a third on Wednesday, January 22nd. And a thanks to Janelle Sibum, our school nurse, and Mo Palmer for coordinating the clinics. And of course, an additional thanks for our partners at O'Connell Pharmacy.
Thank you. Lodi Primary School.
Good evening. So we're very excited about our winter concert that'll be this Friday. With Pillar 1, we are beginning to plan our 4K roundup, so that information has gone out, and I'm getting lots of updates on families that are going to be joining us to find out more about our 4K program and just begin that beginning registration process. We've also been working as a 4K through 5 team. We worked to adjusting some of our report cards, and now we're working on looking at some of those indicators and creating a rubric to help the teachers in aligning their practices and understanding for how they're going to score those report cards that'll go home with our families early in February. Nurturing the whole student, we were able to participate in our first school families. We pushed it back just based on some of the other things we were doing this fall. So the students had a really exciting time being able to do that. And you can see some pictures there of some actual siblings as well as those that are just now similarly our families based on what we're doing there. And then the Pillar 4 district workforce, one of the things is working to support our staff in different ways. And so did an activity with the staff on Glimmers and looking at things to continue to create a positive kind of daily presence in our school.
Thank you. Lodi Elementary and OSC.
Hello board, thank you. So a couple things wanted to highlight. First of all, wanted to make sure we're myself reminding too to be grateful for all that we have. So just recently at a staff meeting we reflected on just some things that we're thankful for. Experiences we're thankful for our past and people we need to thank. And here's some pictures of some happenings recently at LES and OSC that have been posted on social media, and just the many opportunities students have that they should be very grateful for and that we are very grateful for. Our partnerships in different ways, what we do has been highlighted recently as well. And then always those making great choices at school, so we appreciate that. Also this time of year, as we look at the school report card and as we get ready for our next round of assessment, we always just try to give that reminder of that perspective of how we use assessments, how valuable they are, and just how that information either confirms or challenges what we are seeing daily and then what we do with that information. And then student supports, as we had that recent visit from DPI in regards to the Get Kids Ahead initiative, I just thought it was important to highlight not only what we do with that money, but also to highlight the supports that we put in place universally for students. So obviously some of those things, such as morning meeting and the care and commitment we show them and the consistent expectations and routines that we help students with, but also just some of these that I listed there. So our community values, so students know who we are and what we believe, our universal expectations, how we help students with behavior with their plan overall, take a break spaces in classrooms, like I mentioned, morning meeting and closing circle, our social emotional learning instruction that Mrs. Barr delivers to students, and then how we support students in need of intervention when it comes to behavior. So those are just some things I wanted to highlight for you.
Thank you. And last but not least, Lodi Middle School.
Lodi Middle School. Good evening, board. Lots of things to highlight this week, or this month. So first of all, our 7th grade went to a program called Future Quest at the Alliant Energy Center, and that gives them an opportunity to go through some different stations and learn about some different career clusters. It also gives them an opportunity to, they go out to eat to restaurants, and I know that some of us think like, kids are still learning how to do that. So it's a really great day of learning for them, not only about careers, but also just about some social skills that they will need. Going on to Pillar 2, the Music Man, Joe had mentioned what a great show that was, and a great opportunity for our students. So we actually took our whole middle school over there on November 14th to watch the Music Man. It's a great opportunity for us to be able to teach our kids about theater etiquette and how we can act at a show, and also a great opportunity to see what kind of opportunities that lie ahead for them. In life skills, Mr. Bauer does a great job in our 8th grade. He partners with a agency called Hope House. And he has them come in and they talk about various topics, but this time when they were in, they talked about healthy relationships for teens, teen dating violence, and sexual assault and consent, just to make sure that our students understand those situations. We appreciate that he reaches out to that, agency to set that up for our students. Then we go to Innovative Community Connections. Our 6th grade has veterans come in. They partner with maybe I think there's 6 or 7 different veterans from our community that they have come in, and they go through a rotation where students are rotating through and getting an opportunity to hear from each of those veterans. And it's a great opportunity for a variety of different reasons. Number one, they're community members. Number two, it's an opportunity for these veterans to share their stories, which we think is really important in honoring them on Veterans Day. And also, number three, it's a really great opportunity for our kids to learn from like a primary source about some of the situations that these amazing individuals have been through. Then I want to go to a few different fundraisers we did. So we had a candy drive. Michelle Howe runs this every single year, and for Halloween, obviously we have lots of kids out and about getting candy. This year was super windy and cold, but I still think they found their way to get candy. But she sets it up with Lodi Valley Dental, that every pound of candy that our students bring in to donate, and that candy is donated to our military, but every pound of candy that they bring in, Lodi Valley Dental donates $1, and this year they raised $206 with that event. And you can see that's a lot of candy.
And that goes to Reach Out Lodi?
Yes, the money goes to Reach Out Lodi. Thank you for the reminder. And then we also participated not too much longer later in Hike for Hunger. And our students at Lodi Middle School, we participated. It's a community-wide event, and it's actually a competition. And our students at Lodi Middle School donated 1,453 different items. And actually, Michelle Howe's homeroom won like the community-wide contest, and they won a pizza party from Log Tavern for winning that. So congratulations to their homeroom. And then the last thing I just want to mention, as a part of Pillar 4, just wanted to say thank you to our servicemen. So in celebration of Veterans Day, just wanted to honor them. We have Hospital Corpsman Landolt. He's a 7th grade language arts teacher and math teacher at Lodi Middle School. And we have Specialist Clade, and his primary role is a recess monitor. And both of them do a great job just representing our community and representing just everything great about our military. And I just want to take some time to honor that we have some veterans right within our school. That's all from middle school.
Awesome. Thanks, Derek. All right. Vince, you're up.
Yeah, I just have a couple items. The State Accountability Report Card. Congratulations to all our students and staff in the district for the outstanding work. And that resulted in the school accountability report cards. Dr. Carls is going to review this coming up in the meeting, so I don't want to steal his thunder. But results like that don't happen without the concerted effort of students, staff, families, and the support of our community in passage of the referendum in 2022. I was going to talk about the upcoming winter concerts, but Caleb already covered that. So finally, just a reminder to our community and board that all school buildings, including the district office, will be closed starting after school on Friday, December 20th through Wednesday, January 1st due to the holiday break.
All right, thank you. President report. I want to congratulate the entire district on our school report cards. Those scores reflect an entire district and community team effort to give our kids the best education possible. Without our community supporting our last referendum, without our administration giving our teachers the tools and support, without our devoted teachers using their talent to know what teaching methods work best for our youth, and without our students putting their best effort into their work, those scores would not be as impressive as they are. All of these things coming together is what makes our district so great. I can't explain how incredibly proud I am of this district and community. And I'm so honored and grateful that I get to live in this community and be a part of this district. Thank you all so much. Speaking of talent, do not forget to attend the winter concerts this month. Some started this past week and others are coming up in the next 2 weeks. I love getting to those concerts if I'm able. I always feel so refreshed and joyful walking out of the Performing Arts Center. Not only do you get to hear holiday songs, it's so awesome to see the talent that Lodi students have. And of course, there are the sporting events and other co-curriculars that always demonstrates the students' talents as well. I'm always grateful to all of the adults that make all these activities possible for our youth. So this includes teachers, parents, volunteers, mentors, and anyone else that takes the time for our kids. And as I usually state in my reports, mainly because I have to remind myself more often, a reminder to slow down and enjoy what you are doing in your life at this moment. Yes, I do have days that I miss when my kids were little and snuggly, but I also am appreciating who they have grown into and enjoy hanging out with them as adults too. I also believe that a big reason for my kids' successes and challenges has a lot to do with the Lodi School District. We might not be the best district in the world according to the report cards, but we're pretty darn close. We might not be the richest nor the biggest, etc., but we give our kids some amazing and great opportunities, and that is all because of the people that are in this community. I want to wish everyone a very happy holiday season. It can be quite overwhelming and exhausting, but it's also very rewarding. Gift giving and making those family traditions come to life are wonderful, but remembering others that are not as fortunate and helping others in need can even be more rewarding. Not only are you helping others, it can be very beneficial for your own mental health and well-being. Humans were born to help and support each other, so please don't forget your food pantries, your homeless shelters, local programs that help others, including Lodi's own Santa Project that helps our local families at this time of year. Start new or continue traditions that give to others in need. Those are the traditions that we need to pass on to our future generations. Have a wonderful and safe holiday season. And now we move on to our DPI School District Accountability Report Cards that we keep hearing about.
Yeah, so we've heard about them a few times. They were made public on November 19th. So I am going to turn this over. That information was shared with the curriculum committee that night. And I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Carls to review the results for the district and each of the schools.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much. These are released internally, so our staff usually have September and October to go through them in each building. We celebrate the success that we see at that time. We also identify things for next step of areas of improvement. No matter how well you're doing, there's always areas to improve, and so each building has identified those areas. The Department of Public Instruction, they're required by state statute to generate these school report cards for every publicly funded school and district in the state. And the report cards are intended to help schools and districts use their performance data, celebrate success, and improve their efforts for their futures. The report cards include data on multiple indicators for multiple years across 4 priority areas: achievement, growth, target group outcomes, and on track to graduation. It used to be that I would stand in front of the board and I would put up the report cards and I would give an in-depth analysis of each one. A few years ago, a board member asked if I could do that in a video format so that the board could preview that video beforehand and so that that would live on our website, so that in the future, if anybody wanted to go in and look at our report cards, because we are required by the state to have them on our district website, that they would also have a video of me that would just give them a full breakdown of how the report cards are constructed, weighted, what each category means. So both in board docs and now living on our website, any member of the community would be able to go in and see that video. And hopefully that will be a useful tool, but you can also reach out to me if you have in-depth questions. So we're not going to do that at this meeting. I would encourage you to look at the video if you want to get a more in-depth analysis. The curriculum committee of the board, though, they have as well brought up each report card. We looked at them in depth and we talked about the construct of the report cards and areas for to highlight as where we're doing amazing and some things that we'll need to continue to work on. But just for the public, just a few highlights from this round of the report cards. We always want to share some of the positives. We probably don't do that enough in education. Just a couple of highlights. So all schools in the school district of Lodi received a rating of exceeds expectations, so we were excited to see that. The school district received its highest score as of yet, since these report cards have been coming out annually. We ranked in the top 50, and there are there's about 420 Wisconsin public school districts receiving scores, so we ranked in the top 50. The school district was the top-rated district in Columbia County and CISA 5. Lodi High School rated 19th out of 400-plus public high schools in the state. Lodi Middle School received its highest score to date, ranking 36 out of 360-plus middle schools / junior high schools in the state. And one thing was really neat, and you have to kind of go into the reports a little bit to find this, but our district growth score was the 4th highest growth score in the state for public school districts. So think about that, 420 public school districts receiving scores. If you go and you look at the growth score, we had the 4th highest growth score in the state. I think we were in the 98th or 99th percentile, which was really exciting to see. Kind of shows the trajectory that we're on. Now that will balance out a little bit as it continues to affect the achievement on the achievement side, but it's showing that we're heading in the right direction. I guess the last thing I would just say is there's a lot of good things that are in these report cards that they measure, but there's also some amazing things we do in the school district that they don't measure. I had the chance to go to the musical and see The Music Man. I mean, the opening scene was incredible, and that none of that is in these school report cards, right? So there's some amazing things that we do here in Lodi that just aren't represented. Keep that in mind.
Thank you, Nick, for all
Thanks,
of
Nick.
this. And thanks for doing the video. And Adam, I had a feeling that was your idea.
It was Chrissy McMorris, actually.
Oh, it was?
That
Okay,
idea.
okay.
Yep.
There we go.
Well, that's awesome, just to get it out there for more people, instead of you having, otherwise you get the emails, people are asking questions, it's all right there, and I just think that's great.
And it's listed under school report card, or,
It's under the curriculum and instruction section, it's the first section
Okay.
on there.
and that's how people would find it.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
And again, I think it just goes to, mention, or going back to mention that this is a full student, staff, family partnership making this happen, and then it wouldn't happen without our community support, right? If our referendum wouldn't have passed, we would have cut staff, we would not have those results. We would not have those girl scores.
Especially for those little
So
kids.
it's all of those things coming together.
Yeah.
So we need everybody working together. It takes a village, as we've always talked about. And that's what it shows. When you have a village, you can have great results.
All right, girls wrestling.
So the WIAA has recognized girls wrestling as one of the fastest growing sports in Wisconsin and nationwide. To support this growing interest and participation, the WIAA is reshaping the landscape in girls wrestling to offer structure and focus on female versus female competitions, practices, etc. Like most high school wrestling programs in the state, Lodi's wrestling program leverages a structure that allows female and male athletes to compete on the same team. With growing female interest in Lodi, as demonstrated through participation in our Cruise girls wrestling program and new offerings by the WIAA, Lodi Wrestling would like to explore the possibility of doing a standalone female wrestling program. And just one of the things I want to talk about is why now, right? So the WIAA has really kind of changed the structure and the guidelines and the timing of this. So if you look at this current season, the tournament series for wrestling, there is a girls-only tournament which begins February 14th, followed by sectionals on February 21st with a state tournament held at the Cole Center. And then there's a team recognition, a team champion for the first time in girls sports. So that's any girl who's wrestling on any team across the state. At the start of the 25-26 season, schools have to decide whether you're going to have a girls-only wrestling program or continue with girls wrestling on your boys program. So that has to be done by this February. So schools without a girls' team program will have those girls will only be allowed to wrestle in the male competitions, in co-ed competitions or things like that. And those girls will not be allowed to participate in the tournament series for girls. Only teams that have a designated girls' team will be allowed to participate in the girls' wrestling regional, sectionals, state tournament. And then mixed gender competitions no longer be allowed for those girls' teams. So girls' teams aren't allowed either in those mixed gender wrestling events either. And then in 26-27, the WIAA will implement a state tournament series for girls' wrestling team. Again, trying to expand the sport. I don't know if I'm in favor of the WIAA doing that, right? It really forces districts' hands. Because it really puts your girls at a disadvantage if you don't declare a wrestling team, right? Now you're saying your girls can't go participate in this, in the tournament series.
Okay, so that was my question, is there's enough girls' teams at this point where if we did like declare a girls' team, they would have plenty of opportunities, right? Okay. So they would probably have more opportunity if we didn't, right? Because then we couldn't
they might have more opportunities to go at different wrestling tournaments, but they would have to wrestle boys.
Boys, okay.
Right, and most of our girls, and I think that will limit the amount of girls you have to go out. It's one of those catch-22s,
Yeah.
right? How many girls are gonna wrestle? Well, it depends on who we're wrestling, right?
Yeah.
If we're gonna have a girls' team, and we're gonna wrestle girls and compete against girls, we'll probably have more kids out and build a program, and the program will build.
Yeah,
If you wait until you have enough girls to build, have enough girls that we can start a program, you may never get there because they're having to wrestle against boys, and now those girls are disenfranchised by the WIA because they can't
Yeah.
participate in the regional and sectional meet. So, this information was shared with the curriculum committee and the facility and finance committee, along with the potential cost of adding the girls wrestling program. We did a Title IX evaluation to determine if adding girls wrestling and if it would cause any issues with that. It does not. With this information, both committees unanimously moved to the full board a recommendation of approval for starting a pilot girls wrestling program for the 25-26 school year that allows female wrestlers, not just at high school, but then also has a 6th, 8th girls to practice jointly at the same time with the varsity. They can't practice with each other, but they can practice at the same time, right, to try to build a program that way.
so they can't be in the same room?
They can be in the same room, they just can't wrestle each other.
They can't wrestle
okay.
each
You
other.
know, again, and same thing, right? If we had the middle school boys and high school boys wrestling, we wouldn't want a 7th grader wrestling a junior in high school,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So,
Okay.
same thing, same idea, is we want to make sure we're protecting our students, but also trying to build a program that way. So,
This is a lot of info. Who put all this together?
the whole administrative team, so Nick did a lot, Sue Mefford had some, and Joe
Thank
put
you,
most of it
guys.
together. So those guys spent a lot of time on it, and they had information from those two gentlemen there, who
Yeah.
obviously provided a lot of the information as well. Again, it's been a long process to walk through. It just takes, anytime you're talking about adding a sport, it gets very frustrating for the people who want to add a sport, because it takes a long time. Like, we gotta go through a Title IX piece. We have to look at all the budget pieces. We have to look at our policies and places like that too, right? Because it's a big deal when we add a co-curricular. But again, having seen that we have girls out now, Lodi has such a rich wrestling tradition, and looking at the number of girls that came out for the crew programs, when it was just girls only, we feel, again, Lodi's always been a leader in wrestling, and we want to continue to be that. And so we would recommend that we move forward with a pilot program and this will start next school year. But we also have wrestling coaches here if you have any questions of them as well.
So I'm going to make the motion. I move to approve a Lodi High School girls wrestling team pilot for the 25-26 school year that allows females at the 6th through 8th grade level to practice jointly with the standalone high school girls team. A plan needs to be developed to ensure Title IX requirements are met. In addition, program pilot evaluation parameters should be established.
I'll second that.
Motion by Adam, second by Terry. Any more discussion?
Yeah, so there was one concern about it's tight on the boys' space right now for wrestling. And we know with full confidence, you guys will figure that out, how to make space for girls and keep space for boys and get everything. Can you bring that back to us at some time in the future when you figure that out and just show us what you've done to make that all work together?
Yeah, sorry.
You don't have to do it now. You don't have to say anything about it now. We
You
know
can,
you
though.
will take care of it, right?
I think to formulate that plan, we want to make sure that the new girls coach is hired, so that individual can have input.
Oh, sure,
We
yeah.
can really sit down with the boys program, the girls program, the strength training program, and all figure out a way to share the facilities, that way everyone has equal access. There's gonna take flexibility in all parts, coaches, parents, athletes, some morning workouts, some night workouts, maybe late night workouts. But as you said, we're really confident that we can make a really good plan, but I think we should try to hire this individual sooner rather than later and try to onboard them this year and do some of that training where, as a boys program, we can help guide that individual this year. That way next year when they are split, they're not on their own for the first time with no knowledge. Like, I would just love for the staff that we have to help this individual this year, if possible.
Makes sense.
Okay.
Thanks.
I was gonna say something, now I forget. forget sometimes. So all of this planning, I mean, you guys, I'm sure, have seen all this and you helped. I mean, everything seems like it's going to work, right? There's no like something that the administration said and you're kind of like, that's not gonna fly. Or is there something that the wrestling, you know, I'm just kind of curious if it's gonna, it seems like everything's gonna work out, right?
I think it was Dr. Carls who had the idea to reach out to WA and ask about 6th, 7th, and 8th grade girls wrestling. And that was so tremendous because our concern from a wrestling standpoint was there was gonna be a pinch point at some point at the middle school. We had all these youth girls, we have the high school figured out, we didn't have the coaches or the facilities for middle school. We're like, we're gonna run into a pinch point.
Yeah.
And when Nick had that idea and the WA approved it, like that's tremendous, because now we're gonna be able to tell every 6th or 12th grade girl, you're gonna have your own coach, your own practice space, the boys aren't gonna be there, they're gonna be able to work together, even though they can't wrestle together, there's gonna be leadership and guidance. So I just think, and that was a new idea that I think Lodi really brought to the table. I could see a lot of other communities and school districts kind of following suit. So I'm just really thankful and proud of this district for, again, like Vince said, being a leader in the wrestling industry.
Yeah. I know, well, and that's when you guys had come to the board last year and talked to us. I mean, we kind of all looked at each other. I mean, we didn't know what each other's thoughts were, you know, but I kind of said that to him, like, we're Lodi Wrestling, we gotta do this, right?
Well, and then the WIA, that whole thing just sort of, it's like Vince said, you have to do it.
Yeah.
If you're gonna let the girls wrestle.
And I'm assuming WIA did that just to kind of get girls wrestling going, right? Because otherwise you would have schools that would kind of,
You'd wait,
yeah.
right? Because
you know.
again, there's pressure now to make sure, like, because you have kids who are wrestling this year, girls who are on the team.
Yeah.
And again, if you continue to grow, you may get more girls out for the wrestle with the boys. But now, not allowing them to wrestle in a girls' tournament, right, really puts them at a disadvantage.
That's not this year, right?
No, next year.
Okay. So right now, they're just wrestling, boys or girls, depending on what the weight class.
They're wrestling, so we've done a good job of getting in tournaments and events where there's other, we know that there's girls there right now. It's like, last weekend we were in Stoughton, the JV wrestled, and the JV boys wrestled JV boys. The girls were in a girls division.
Nice.
Yeah,
Well,
there's
thank you,
plenty of
guys.
opportunities already this year for girls they'll only be wrestling girls.
Yeah, in our program too, like in the practice room, the girls only practice with the girls. They're only coached by girls coaches. They're only gonna wrestle girls. Like we wanna be in front of this, really promoting what it's gonna be. And we're hosting our first ever girls tournament, January 6th in Lodi. We're super excited about it, and we kind of capped it at 80 girls to make sure we can get done in a night. We have over 125 girls waitlisted for this event.
Waitlisted?
Waitlisted. And we feel terrible that we can't let them in, but the growth of girls wrestling is so big. In a couple of years, you're going to see girls tournaments splitting off, girls away from the Cole Center. As state coaches committees, we're already working on where's the girls' state tournament going to go, just to provide them room for the expansion. And the truth of it being, like, they deserve their own stage.
Yeah.
So far, they've been kind of like the sidekick to the boy. We're ready for them to like shine in their own light and give them their own tournaments, their own state tournament, and everything else. So, and the numbers back it up. It's coming.
Well, thank you guys too, because I know you've obviously been a big push to this and been patient.
patient.
Yes. No, I'm sure there's many girls very appreciative of you, so thank you. Is everybody ready to vote?
Yeah?
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes 5-0. We got girls wrestling.
Here we go.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
You're welcome to stick around.
Yes, thank you administration too. Everybody helping. Yeah.
Or take a meal with you when you walk out the door.
They're really good.
Yeah.
All right, STEM program cost.
Yeah, so the STEM program is with Madison College, was first established in 2017. At that time, the board's curriculum policy and finance committee reviewed and set the policies, the program's policy structure and funding parameters. Last year, the curriculum committee reviewed the program to assess student access and funding contributions. After that review, the committee decided to maintain our current policy without adjustments. Just a reminder that Lodi is one of only 6 districts in the region that even leverages local funding to allow students to do this. I think sometimes when we talk about this at a community level, we're like, well, how come this district does more? Like, we're one of only 6 in the area that even allows our students to do this. So it's quite an opportunity for our kids to even have the opportunity. So this fall, we had a family request the board's curriculum committee re-examine our policy again, looking at increasing the district funding to cover 100% of tuition costs for all participating Lodi students, and to increase the food and drink stipend that were provided to participants. So that discussion happened at the curriculum committee, and they decided in October to move it to the finance committee. So then the finance committee had a discussion about this as well, and decided to move it to the full board with a recommendation.
Nobody wants to make a decision, no, I'm just kidding.
Is that?
Nobody wants to make a decision.
Well, and I'll have to go back to policy if we make a decision.
Yeah.
To fully fund the tuition for our 4 students attending the STEM Academy, starting with the spring semester, the 24-25 school year. So the board can decide to do that. If the board decides they want to keep it as is, we don't have to do anything, no motion has to be made. Or if we want to follow what the recommendations were coming out of the committees, it would be to cover at 100% the tuition cost for 4 students.
So you said that we're one of the only 6 districts in the region, but who else does this?
So, Sun Prairie, Madison, Poinette.
I can tell you in a second. Madison, Sun Prairie, Verona, Poinette, Marshall.
Oh, I thought it was Sun. And do they pay the full cost for their students?
Yes.
They send quite a few more, like so Madison, but again, their budgets are significantly bigger than ours. I think we send more than Poinette.
Poinette sends 2 a year and pays 100% of their tuition for those 2 students. Marshall sends 1 a year. They sent an additional one this school year, but that they figured out a cost sharing option because they're bringing on an additional one.
So
I think
even-
actually that family paid for it all on their own. But
So even if there's more kids that want to, they just say no, right?
So do we.
And so we do too, but we send 4, right?
We send 2 each year, so
Oh, 2 each year.
2 of the junior class and 2 of the senior class. So when our seniors leave this year, there'll be, next year,
We have
2
to do
sophomores
both.
will be able to apply,
Okay.
and they'll go through an interview process.
Because I remember
accepted.
being in curriculum when we first
Poinette
talked
sends
about it, it was
2
a
in
while
total.
ago.
We sent 4 in total.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there are approximately like 4, I think there were 4 juniors that applied last year, 2 got in. And we're not a part of the interviews or anything like that, it's all Madison College.
Okay. So that was gonna be my question, how many are usually trying to get in?
Yeah, I think it was 4 last year. Well, 4 juniors, the 2 seniors.
I have mixed feelings on this one, just because, I mean, yeah, I would love to pay for everything, but that's a cost.
Yeah, it comes with a cost, that's for sure.
And I do, like, I always try to think of it, like, my point of view, and I'm gonna be honest, when our oldest was in school, we were not very financially stable. But if she had this opportunity, I just feel like we would probably try to make it work. And obviously, I know on here it says that if the student is like financially,
Yep.
we would pay.
It's free.
Yep.
Free and reduced lunch, period, it's free.
We obviously are giving some money, so I don't know. I'm really like kind of torn, because I want to give everybody opportunities, but.
And I'd hate to go
Just a
down
lot
to
of money.
2 and pay full, when 4 people can go and we can pay, a
That's the
good
thing
portion.
too, like I would hate for it to all of a sudden be like, you know what, we're gonna have to cut this now, so now we're only gonna send 2. I would rather give more kids opportunity and just have them have to pay for some of it. Going from over 18,000 to 28,000, that's,
But I would argue, based on the cost that the state gives us per student and the cost of this program, it's not a lot of money.
But I also, we can't really argue it that way. Right?
Right.
What the state gives us per student doesn't just go per student, right? It covers
Other
all
things.
sorts of things.
Yes, covers a lot more stuff.
So the finance committee thought that this was possibly doable. Okay, that's what I wanted to know. That's why we sent it to you.
yeah. Well,
I'm
that was
on
always
both,
tough. I
so-
remember being in the curriculum committee and being like, okay, well, yeah, it sounds great, but it's the money too.
I'm on both committees, so
Yes,
we
Teresa's
talked
on
about
both
it at
committees.
both, so.
She went from one to the next one.
I did, yes, and it seemed quite doable. And
I can't remember where we said the funding was coming from, but there was a place. It was possible, right, Brent?
It's coming from the budget.
Yeah.
So just the general fund it
Build
comes
it,
from?
yep, build it into the budget.
I mean, could we approve it just for the next 2 years and then reevaluate? Or is that not?
I don't know what you're gonna reevaluate. I mean, it's just, the kids are, it's been a very successful program.
Right. I just meant like if it turns out to be a financial hardship.
Well, that comes with referendum, right? If you fail a referendum, then these type of things go away.
Lots of
These opportunities go away.
Lots of things go away.
This might be one of them, or
Well,
it'll
this
change
would
again.
probably be right at the top, yeah.
The other thing that both committees had a discussion about was whether they should increase the food stipend. And neither moved to do that. There is a food stipend that comes with that tuition.
I was gonna say.
So it's part of the tuition.
I thought that if it was, if you paid the 100%, that they,
Either percent, they still have a food stipend, but
Still
one
have-
of the districts has kicked in more. 'Cause,
okay, that was what it was.
So there's like a $7 food stipend
think
to
if
pay down
we-
there. So if they want a full meal, they end up paying a couple extra dollars out of pocket, which
Oh,
is
and
exactly.
when they go to MATC, or Madison College?
Yeah, because it just costs more to eat lunch down there.
Okay.
But
So
you had
part of-
pointed out it, but they're still, the lunches here are.
Yep, we're not giving kids free lunch here
Yeah.
either. So like they're having to pay $2 or $3 for lunch here.
And they can
every
get
single
the
day.
basic lunch probably for what the stipend is, but if you want a nicer lunch, you pay extra.
So we decided, the committees decided not to move
Yeah.
that forward to the
If
board.
I'd be happy with the 100% tuition. I pack
Sure
my
that
lunch
would
every
be-
day, they can too, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to move to adjust the current STEM Academy policy to cover 100% of the tuition costs for all 4 students, starting with 2025-26 school year.
Okay,
Could you amend that
yeah.
to start it at the spring semester of 24-25?
I know Vince said it correctly, but it's not written correctly here.
Okay, starting with the 24.
Spring
Spring,
semester.
24-25 school
So
year.
this coming up semester?
Yep.
Yeah, that was the motion that came out of facility finance.
Okay.
It was just.
And I'll second that.
So motion by Terry, second by Adam. Any more discussion?
Finance committee says it can be paid for.
I figure they had Brent and the 3 of them, they should have figured that out.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? I'm
Wait,
actually-
do I have a conflict of interest voting on this?
Being from every
Now
time.
that I'm thinking about it.
Are you gonna make money off
Do you
this
want to
program?
abstain?
I
Well,
will
her job-
not
you're
make
not-
money off of
Yeah,
this
it's not a
Job
great
is-
program.
program.
It's up to you. You can abstain if you want, or you can just,
I just want to do what the right thing is.
Well, even if you abstain, I believe it's passed.
It's safer to abstain. It's safer to.
I don't,
Thank you.
yeah,
I'll abstain.
Okay,
okay, so let's just
Adam
do.
says it's safer.
No one can come after you.
right.
So
They
let's
can
just
come
do
after
that
me
one more
for other
time.
things.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? I'm gonna oppose, just because it does make me a little nervous with money, and then Teresa abstained, so that motion still passes 3-1. All right.
thank you.
Good discussion, you guys, like always. All right, educational options. Approval of notice to parents, guardians, discussion and action.
Yeah, so each year the district's required by January 31st to provide parents, guardians with notice of building and district report card data along with summary of educational options available within the school district of Lodi. There's a draft January 2025 letter to parent guardians attached in board docs for the board to review and approve prior to copying, mailing, and posting it to the district's webpage to meet this mandated requirement. So we would recommend approval of educational outcomes letter.
I make a motion to approve the annual notification notice for parents and guardians on school options as required under the 2015 Act 55.
I'll second that.
Motion by Adam, second by Sarah Rupp. Any more discussion? All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes 5-0. And then our board self-evaluation.
Yeah, so according to policy PO 0177, each board member shall use the link to complete a self-evaluation or evaluation for the district. Please complete this no later than December 22nd, and then Ms. Palmer will compile information for a summative report for the board review at the January meeting. So pretty straightforward, hopefully.
Thank you, Mo. All right.
For new board members who haven't done it yet, right, you haven't filled it out yet, it's just fill it out to the best of your ability, right?
Okay, I looked at it and then I was kind of, maybe I'll wait and ask, find out more at the meeting, so.
If you have questions, you can call and ask, but just fill out the best of your ability, right? There's some of those
Evaluations
things
are
you
hard
haven't
the
done
first
through.
year, 'cause-
You haven't done all that stuff.
yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
All right, state convention participation?
So thank you to everybody who has gotten their information to Mo regarding the state convention, which is in Milwaukee from January 21st through the 24th. Please just let her know exactly when you are going down so we can make sure we can coordinate hotel rooms when you're down, when you're staying. So if you can get that to her in the next week or so, that would be great.
Yeah, I have to know before December 20th if you are not staying from Tuesday night to Friday, because then I have to cancel part of that reservation, or we'll get charged.
So if you're just staying for, like if you're coming down Wednesday morning and staying through Thursday, then we will cancel a Tuesday night hotel room. We don't want a hotel room, to pay for a hotel room if you're not gonna be there.
Right.
Or if you're gonna be down there Tuesday night, stay all the way through Thursday night to Friday.
Able to go?
Everyone except Scott is going.
Oh, that'll be nice, good. You'll get a group of us.
It's a bummer that Scott can't come. That's awesome though.
Yeah,
That's a good
it
turnout.
is. We all get to go
That's
listen to the
awesome.
financial thing over and over.
Yeah, and
I could go
want to give a shout out
50
to
times.
MATC.
And I would
for-
still walk out of there like.
Yeah, I would, because
I
you
know.
weren't sure.
I was not sure at all, and
Awesome.
They stepped up and made it work for you.
bosses said, yeah, that they thought it was a good
That's awesome.
educational opportunity.
It's
and
really awesome.
that I didn't need to take personal time or anything.
Wow.
So I was very grateful. Excited.
It's really fun. Candidacy and non-candidacy paperwork
Before you go on,
deadlines.
resolutions, we always get resolutions, did they not come through, does anybody know?
We haven't gotten them yet.
Oh,
So
yeah.
they'll probably come to
You guys
January.
do those in January.
We do, okay.
Yeah, we do. It's right before we go.
Has CISA got any?
We'll get
No,
that
we
talk
talked about it, but
We'll get that
there's no
big
meeting this
packet.
month, so we didn't talk about it this month.
Yeah, so for new board members, there's a resolution, boards can propose resolutions that they would like WASB to pass. And so we will bring those, we will share them with you and probably have you like vote on them individually. Like, hey, yep, I think we should support this, no, we shouldn't. And then that will shorten our conversation versus us going through every single one here. We would just go through the ones where there's some conversation that we need to have.
Yeah.
Because Terry is our delegate rep.
And I think Sarah
Ramish
Ramish
said
is
she
gonna
would-
be the,
Yep.
Yeah.
The backup.
So-
backup.
So they will sit in a session where they vote on those resolutions, and so our board will guide how we want Terry to
How we
vote.
want Terry to vote.
yes.
And I'm sorry, we meet at that event to talk about it?
No.
We
No,
do
no,
it before?
we will, I
We'll
will,
get them ahead of time to look
Okay.
at.
so I will get them, once I get them, we will send them out to you in an email.
Okay.
Have you put together a document where we have you kind of
Mm-hmm.
choose, yes, we should support this, no, we shouldn't. And then at our next board meeting in January, I will take that information, and the ones that are, you know,
All yeses or
contested,
all
yeah, all
noes.
no's,
Yeah.
we're not even gonna talk about. We're just gonna talk about the ones that people are on the fence about, and then we can discuss which way you wanna go with them, and then move forward from there. But that will happen prior to us going down there.
Are you presenting again, or are some of our people presenting?
We have 3 presentations, Lodi's involved in 3. Nick, Joe, and I will be presenting on our community connections on Wednesday afternoon. I am
So we
presenting.
should sit in the front row for that.
Yes, tackle as much as you need to. Yeah.
Nickel. I'm proposing with the I'm presenting with the our social media company, and also with our law firm talking about hiring staff, immigrant staff. And again, with our social media companies, the work we've done with our social media company.
You're gonna be busy.
Yeah. And we have a Lodi group singing
I know.
on Friday
That's
morning.
really
And then they're
exciting.
gonna say, Lodi board members, stand up,
And
and
we
we're gonna be
will.
able to.
We always
Like,
are sitting in the same, we should probably sit toward the
Oh, we're
front.
sitting in the front.
We should sit toward
And
the
we're
front.
being
I was more
loud.
excited for the students, but maybe more excited for the board.
Yeah. So I'm gonna be loud at that thing. You guys see me win the 50-50 raffle this year? Everybody in that stadium knew.
It's exciting. It's exciting to have the students down there presenting.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome, I can't wait.
It'll be great. So that'll be Friday morning. That'll be the last morning that they sing.
All right, sorry, we just get so excited for the convention. Okay.
Just prior to the governor speaking too. So So they might get to meet the governor.
It's great that the governor's there, but I'm more excited about it.
No, I would say the same thing.
All right, candidacy and non-candidacy paperwork deadlines.
Yeah, so we have 2 seats up for election, Heather Barron and Scott Bilsey. There are at-large 3-year term seats. Anyone interested in filling out campaign paperwork you can find the needed forms on our website. There's no circulation or nomination papers that are needed for those positions. All paperwork from non-incumbents need to be filled out and filed no later than Tuesday, January 7th at 5 p.m. in the district office to be on the ballot. Just a reminder that the district office is closed December 24th through January 1st.
You gotta get it in before Christmas vacation.
Heather and Scott have to get their paperwork in by the 22nd?
By the 27th.
27th. Remember.
22nd would be nice.
Well, but just remember,
But
but remember, we're closed, so
Yeah.
we want to make sure we're not asking Mo to come in.
Yes.
He doesn't have to be here.
All right, and then policy review.
We have none.
And gifts and donations. Donations of $496 to Lodi's GSA from a fundraiser, donation of $1,000 from Lodi Optimist Club for Primary School Heritage Park, and a donation of $500 from the alumni class of 1969 to the Santa Project.
Nice. That was really nice.
I move to accept with great gratitude the donation of $496 for the Lodi GSA Club, for a donation of $1,000 from the Lodi Optimist for the Primary School Heritage Park, and for the $500 donation from the alumni class of 1969 to the Santa Project.
I'll second that.
Motion by Adam, second by Sarah
It was the
Rick.
food, right?
All in favor? Or any more discussion, I'm sorry. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes 5-0. And we have our committee reports. We'll start with our CISA 5. And I
No
believe you
December
said
meetings.
there was no co-curricular items report?
Yes. Wrestling, the Lodi wrestling team held a scrimmage with DeForest and Stoughton on Monday, December 2nd, their first scheduled match of the year versus Aquinas. I practiced that a lot of times before I came, and I still don't
I had to
know if
do
I
that
wanna
when
say
the football team
Aquinas,
played.
Aquinas.
It is Aquinas.
Got it
I
right.
hope Aquinas was postponed due to Aquinas' deep football playoff run. The team will compete in their first tournament of the season this Saturday in Wisconsin Dells. Boys basketball, the boys basketball team is off to a 1-2 start. Their season opened with a 65-48 loss to Sauk Prairie, followed by a 68-56 win over Marshall. This past Saturday, the team lost a close battle against Cambridge by a score of 72-69. I was at that game. It was a nail-biter. The Blue Devils travel to Beloit Turner on Tuesday and will head to Wisconsin Heights on Friday. Girls basketball, the girls basketball team is off to a 4-2 start with a conference record of 1-0. The team started off the season with a 65-31 win over River Valley before losing to Westfield and Wisconsin Dells. Last week, the Blue Devils beat Marshall 68-34 and had their first conference win over Cambridge on Saturday. They will host DeForest on Tuesday night and also travel to Wisconsin Heights on Friday. Boys hockey. The Norski Co-op hockey team is 1-2 with a conference record of 1-1. They opened the season with a 3-5 loss to Viroqua. They opened conference play with a 6-1 win over Baraboo/Portage, followed by a 2-4 loss to Reedsburg. They will travel to Oregon on Tuesday and host Sauk Prairie on Thursday. I have one question on this. Does curling get put on this? Is
No.
curling in the same level as like the hockey?
No, because they're not they're just a club, not just, they're a club sport.
Okay.
Kind of like our skiing team, or
Gotcha.
not skiing, or
Okay.
equestrian team. They are not sponsored by the school district.
Okay,
And
thank
is
you.
the hockey team still considered Norskies, or is it Navigators or whatever, isn't it? Or is it still DeForest?
Should be different. Yeah.
South Central Navigators.
Okay, that's what I was wondering.
She read it wrong.
No.
She didn't. I thought she was
We'll
gonna.
need to get that.
Okay, OSC.
Okie dokie, OSC, we had a meeting on November 20th. Students recently presented their mini projects, and they were able to pick their own focus, and they did a great job presenting. Students made ornaments for the Capitol tree and also discussed making ornaments for the City of Lodi tree, which, Eric, do you know, did they end up doing that?
Yeah.
They did, okay, cool. Recent field studies included going to Devil's Lake and learning from Baraboo Fire and EMS, along with the DNR about safety on the trail. OSC students will have their winter concert on December 6th at 2 p.m. Students are in round 2 of WIN, which means adjustments have been made to and structures utilized to help students learn and grow.
Do you want to tell people what WIN is?
Well, you know, I can't remember what it means.
What you need.
What you need.
What you need.
All right, so they're adjusting to get what they need. Grade level lunch recesses are going very well. And 4 all-school recesses will be happening throughout the year. And if you don't know what that is, that's where they're mixing kids from the regular Lodi elementary with the OSC kids.
I love when they do that. Yeah, that's
Speaking
nice.
as a mom who's had 2 kids go through OSC, they just love that, and I think it's a really great thing, and I'm glad that's happening.
Well, and speaking from mom who didn't have OSC, and
Yeah, or that,
my
yeah.
daughter was like, I never get to see my OSC.
Yeah,
friends."
it's so good.
I'm glad they do that.
Okay, let's see here, where was I? Other recent happenings, which Eric already touched on, were the we had a costume parade for Halloween, parent-teacher conferences, and an evacuation drill. There's been a lot of OSC fundraising activities. We had a recent clothing sale, which has ended, and clothing will be ready soon for people that purchase them. Students will be making a label for the OSC lemonade jelly, and they've discussed having an online store for selling the jelly. And I wondered, have there been any new updates since we had this meeting about
Just
that?
that it's done.
Okay.
It's getting dropped off soon, and then we'll be looking at selling.
So we
Awesome.
can buy jelly for Christmas presents?
Perhaps.
Okay, perhaps.
Next Christmas.
More will be coming.
Okay. The LES OSC Playground was the Piggly Wiggly Roundup of recipient for the month of November. And also, I just threw this on here, just wanted to mention that OSC does have an Amazon wish list, if anybody ever wants to pop on there and see if there's something they might want to purchase. Last but not least is the OSC Charter Renewal. The committee that's involved in renewing the charter is Jen Morgan, Angie Lathrop, Nick Carls, all the OSC advisors, and Mr. Shinneman. After recently meeting with the Wisconsin Resource Center for Charter Schools, a timeline was updated with the goal of having the proposed charter to the Personnel Committee for their March meeting. And our next meeting is Wednesday, December 18th, and I think it's like a Christmas party / committee meeting. That's an update.
Sounds fun. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, our board committee reports. So our personnel and our policy have not met since the last board meeting, but curriculum.
Yeah, well, you heard a good chunk of ours was the wrestling, the girls' wrestling, so that's done. Anyway, also we had reading on language arts department report by Elise Kearney and K through 12 language arts, and talked about collaboration between the high school and the middle school and the different departments collaborating with special education team to better support all the students. Highlights for the high school is they had a deep dive with the ACT test with CISA representative, which has better informed them as far as preparing the students for the ACT. Focusing on writing and working to establish, define, and aligned expectations across all courses, and also concentrating on enhancing instruction around conventions of English. And further developing scope and sequence and refining strategies to teach students effectively in that area. Middle school highlights, first and full year implementing the new My Perspectives reading program, and their teachers recently piloted Unit 1 and have transitioned to Unit 2, which is now for many staff members done. It's new for many staff members, but they've done it. Primary and elementary school teachers continue to make effective use of the new resources adopted over the past few years, highly focused on integrating strategies for Act 20 trainings and into their classrooms to improve instruction. And future goals, the department aims to engage in more cross-curricular work to strengthen student learning. Efforts will focus on better support key transitions, particularly from 5th to 6th grade and 8th to 9th grade, and training around AI. All right, and then we have the health and PE department, which is always fun to listen to. So they all are, but I just get a kick out of this one always. So the primary school, the focus is on teaching students how to keep their bodies healthy. And the department aims to expand the curriculum to introduce students to new games and activities. Their future need for equipment updates to better support instruction. Things wear out. In elementary school, Cody is in his 3rd year and is enthusiastic about updating lessons and introducing students to new skills, as well as getting them into warm-up and cool-down routines, so they would have their own routines. Recently visited DeForest to observe lessons and gather new ideas to enhance teaching practices, and advocating for elementary school stage to be walled off. So everybody can imagine what happens to that stage during. Anyway, kids like to jump up there, you know.
I'm sure
I mean,
that's
yeah,
gotta be constant, get down.
Oh, yeah, get down, right. So anyway, middle school, incorporate the heart rate monitors is progressing well, and the team is continuing discussions around fitnessgram testing and checking in with other schools, what they are doing with that, their structures. Brian Bauer, the middle school life skills teacher, is helping students set goals and track progress in managing anxiety and stress. And he's also leading an annual collaboration with Hope House and will teach first aid during the 2nd semester. In the future, he'd like to include digital safety in the curriculum. More about that, which will be discussed in upcoming curriculum committee meetings. And the high school highlights, freshmen finished their swimming unit. They hope to get 12 to 15 students as lifeguards certified, which would be good because it really went down for a while. Strength training, a lot has been improved with insights from Coach Sheldon. Individual PE recently completed a biking unit, and it provided students with opportunity for personal fitness growth. And team sports are going on, and Unified PE, the program continues to thrive, and that's where they have, I think you know about that one, that some of the regular ed students help with the inclusion and assistance with children with disabilities in PE. So it's a really neat program.
Yeah.
So, future, and then we heard all about Nick and the district school scorecard, so we've got that down. We've got that down. Yes. So,
How many kids he has.
there we
you
go.
know, Where he lives.
That's it.
Thank you, Terry.
There was a lot.
Yeah,
We
I see
had
that.
a long meeting.
Facility and finance.
So Katie Schilling, who was a student in the high school, came in and gave a presentation on the bathroom stalls at the high school, which is not something that men are familiar with there being an issue with, but I'm sure all the women in this room who have used those stalls understand that the doors open inward and
Yes.
make no room for you to
Yes.
access or exit
You
those
have to go
stalls.
in and go like that.
Yeah, you do this weird dance.
And if you have kids with you, it's always real blast.
Right.
That student group would like to change that so that the doors open outside instead of inside. There's some issues with that though, that came up.
Hitting people when you open it? or
Well, the
what?
doors would hit someone if they came up. You have to maintain the handicapped access to the handicap stall at the end.
So if they're all open, they can't get through.
Right.
Yeah,
And then
true.
they talked to the committee. The committee gave them wonderful ideas and hooked them up with people who could help them solve those problems. They have met with those people and come up with some new ways to move forward. And so they'll be pursuing that over the next few months.
Interesting.
They will probably meet with the company and go figure out exactly how the company would fix it and what it will cost. And then they'll come back and tell us about that. And then we talked about girls wrestling, which you all heard about. We talked about STEAM program costs, which you heard about. We looked at fire suppression systems in all of the buildings except the primary school. There are no fire suppression systems. The original cost estimate to do the elementary school, middle school, and high school were about $4.5 million. And so because fires in schools are so rare and occur at such a low rate, there was a question of could we just put it in fire suppression in the areas where those fires occur and not the other areas. And that came in, we got a cost estimate for that. and that came in about 2.2 million.
So where are some of those places, Anna?
So it would be like the CTE wing and that kind of area, the kitchen areas, the science wing, places where there's
Things could blow up.
combustibles and burnable things going on. Maybe the
Primary school already has it. 'cause
Yes,
it's
came
newer.
with the new building.
Chemistry labs.
So that will all be on tap as we move to the next referendum, if we choose to do that. We
So
also,
we're not mandated to do that.
they are
The state
grandfathered
is
in.
council.
We chose last referendum not to do that.
Yeah, the buildings are grandfathered in as the way they are now, so. And then we talked about the high school roofing contract moving forward, which you saw. That's it.
Okay, all right, thank you.
It'll be due.
All right, so our future meetings, let's see, I'm gonna go in order here. So our personnel committee is Thursday, January 9th at 4:30. We do not have any committee meetings in December, by the way. Our policy committee is Thursday, January 9th at 6 o'clock. And then we have our next regular school board meeting is Monday, January 13th at 5:30 with closed session, 6:30 open. Then we have our state convention in Milwaukee, January 21st to the 24th.
Did you have curriculum down there?
I'm getting there.
Okay.
Our administration and board retreat is January 27th at 5:30. Our curriculum committee meeting is Tuesday, January 28th at 4:30.
Okay.
And our facility and finance is Tuesday, January 28th at 6 o'clock. And we do not need to go into closed session, I believe.
I do have one question before we adjourn, though, it's very important. So Joe, I think I need to meet with students tomorrow, so what time is lunch tomorrow?
11
When will the dumplings be available?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Feel free to stop over.
And there are two lunches I can
Yeah,
have?
11 o'clock and 12:30, so you just stick around for a while, you can hit the second one as well.
Thank you.
Or if you want to visit the classroom at 8 o'clock, it sounds like, too.
8 o'clock.
Yes, 8 o'clock, Mr. Fossbender will be cooking with his.
I think eating lunch,
Culture
I mean,
director,
visiting with the students would be perfect.
That's awesome.
Yes, it was very good.
I wondered about this administrative
I know, I'm
board
excited. It
retreat.
smells good.
Is that something related to what we've been doing, or is that a separate thing?
It's, so the question was the administrative board retreat. So every year we have a retreat with the administration and the board. We will sit down, have a meal, spend some time together, typically look at where we are with our strategic plan and progress we've made on certain aspects of the strategic plan versus what will be shared at the gallery walk in February. So
Okay.
we do it every year.
Okay.
We could take hang out.
Get to hang out. We should do it at the high school library.
All right. So can we adjourn?
Yes, sorry.
Yeah,
So I'll make a motion to adjourn.
And I'll second.
all right, motion by Terry, second by Adam. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes 5-0. We are adjourned.